God is a circle whose center is everywhere, and its circumference nowhere. Many fires burn below the surface. No mortal thing has a beginning, nor does it end in death and obliteration. There is only a mixing and then separating of what was mixed, but by mortal men these processes are named beginnings. The force that unites the elements to become all things is love, also called Aphrodite. Love brings together dissimilar elements into a unity, to become a composite thing. Love is the same force that human beings find at work in themselves whenever they feel joy, love, and peace. Strife, on the other hand, is the force responsible for the dissolution of the one back into its many, the four elements of which it was composed. It was not the mixture, O men, of blood and breath that made the beginning and substance of your souls, though your earth-born and mortal body is framed of those things. But your soul has come hither from another place. Weak and narrow are the powers implanted in the limbs of men, many the woes that fall on them and blunt the edge of thought. Short is the measure of the life and death through which they toil, then are they borne away, like smoke they vanish into air, and what they dream they know is but the little each hath stumbled on in wandering about the world, yet boast they all that they have learned the whole, vain fools. For what that is, no eye hath seen, no ear hath heard, nor can it be conceived by mind of man. Thou, then, since thou hast fallen to this place, shalt know no more than human wisdom may attain. What is lawful is not binding only on some and not binding on others. Lawfulness extends everywhere, through the wide-ruling air and the boundless light of the sky. There is an utterance of necessity, an ancient decree of the gods, eternal, sealed fast with broad oaths. Whenever any one defiles his body sinfully with bloody gore or perjures himself in regard to wrongdoing, one of those spirits who are heir to long life, thrice 10,000 seasons shall he wander apart from the blessed, being born meantime in all sorts of mortal forms, changing one bitter path of life for another. Earth's sweat, the sea. The sea is the sweat of the earth. But come, hear my words, for truly learning causes the mind to grow. For as I said before in declaring the ends of my words, twofold is the truth I shall speak, for at one time there grew to be the one alone out of many, and at another time it separated so that there were many out of the one, fire and water and earth and boundless height of air, and baneful strife apart from these, balancing each of them, and love among them, their equal in length and breadth. Each man believes only his experience. Many fires burn below the surface. There are forces in nature called love and hate. The force of love causes elements to be attracted to each other and to be built up into some particular form or person, and the force of hate causes the decomposition of things. None of the gods has formed the world, nor has any man, it has always been. Having glimpsed a small part of life, men rise up and disappear as smoke, knowing only what each one has learned. The sea is the sweat of the earth. God is a circle whose center is everywhere, and its circumference nowhere. For before this I was born once a boy, and a maiden, and a plant, and a bird, and a darting fish in the sea. It was not the mixture, O men, of blood and breath that made the beginning and substance of your souls, though your earth-born and mortal body is framed of those things. But your soul has come hither from another place. At one time through love all things come together into one, at another time through strife as hatred, they are born each of them apart. Iris from sea brings wind or mighty rain. What is right may properly be uttered even twice. Blessed is he who has acquired a wealth of divine wisdom, but miserable he in whom there rests a dim opinion concerning the gods. What is lawful is not binding only on some and not binding on others. Lawfulness extends everywhere, through the wide ruling air and the boundless light of the sky. What is lawful is not binding only on some and not binding on others. Lawfulness extends everywhere, through the wide ruling air and the boundless light of the sky. The sight of both eyes becomes one. Hear first the four roots of all things, shining Zeus, life-bringing Hera, Aeneas, and Nestes, who wets with tears the moral wellspring. I shall speak twice over. As upon a time one came to be alone out of many, so at another time it divided to be many out of one, fire and water and earth and the limitless vault of air, and wretched strife apart from these, in equal measure to everything, and love among them equal in length and breadth. With deep roots ether plunged into earth. Nothing of the all is either empty or superfluous. And I will tell you something else, there is no birth of all mortal things, nor any end in wretched death, but only a mixing and dissolution of mixtures. Birth is so called on the part of mankind. There is one vision coming from both eyes. Though we have two eyes, our vision is one. Heaven's exiles, straying from the orb of light, know each thing in the way in which it is clear. But come, hear my words, for truly learning causes the mind to grow. For men's wisdom increases with reference to what lies before them. For water is increased by water, primeval fire by fire, and earth causes its own substance to increase, and air, air. For it is by earth that we see earth, and by water water, and by air glorious air, so, too, by fire we see destroying fire, and love by love, and strife by baneful strife. For out of these elements, all things are fitted together and their form is fixed, and by these men think and feel both pleasure and pain. These elements never cease changing place continually, now being all united by love into one, now each borne apart by the hatred engendered of strife, until they are brought together in the unity of the all, and become subject to it. But come, hear my words, for truly learning causes the mind to grow. For as I said before in declaring the ends of my words, twofold is the truth I shall speak, for at one time there grew to be the one alone out of many, and at another time it separated so that there were many out of the one, fire and water and earth and boundless height of air, and baneful strife apart from these, balancing each of them, and love among them, their equal in length and breadth. For all things are united, themselves with parts of themselves, the beaming sun and earth and sky and sea, whatever things are friendly but have separated in mortal things. And so, in the same way, whatever things are the more adapted for mixing, these are loved by each other and made alike by Aphrodite. But whatever things are hostile or separated as far as possible from each other, both in their origin and in their mixing and in the forms impressed on them, absolutely unwanted to unite and very baneful, at the suggestion of strife, since it has wrought their birth. But come, gaze on the things that bear farther witness to my former words, if in what was said before there be anything defective in form. Behold the sun, warm and bright on all sides, and whatever is immortal and is bathed in its bright ray, and behold the rain cloud, dark and cold on all sides. From the earth there proceed the foundations of things and solid bodies. In strife all things are, endued with form and separate from each other, but they come together in love and are desired by each other. For from these elements come all things that are or have been or shall be. From these there grew up trees and men and women, wild beasts and birds and water-nourished fishes, and the very gods, long-lived, highest in honor. Friends who inhabit the mighty town by Tawny Acrogas, which crowns the citadel, caring for good deeds, greetings. I, an immortal god, no longer mortal, wander among you, honored by all, adorned with holy diadems and blooming garlands. To whatever illustrious towns I go, I am praised by men and women, and accompanied by thousands who thirst for deliverance. Some ask for prophecies, and some entreat for remedies against all kinds of disease. And if your faith be at all lacking in regard to these elements, how from water and earth and air and sun, fire, when they are mixed, arose such colors and forms of mortal things, as many as now have arisen under the uniting power of Aphrodite. How both tall trees and fishes of the sea arose. And thus then Cypris, when she had moistened the earth with water, breathed air on it and gave it to swift fire to be hardened. And all these things which were within were made dense, while those without were made rare, meeting with such moisture in the hands of Cypris. And thus tall trees bear fruit, lit eggs, first of all olives. Wherefore late-born pomegranates and luxuriant apples. Wine is water that is fermented in the wood beneath the bark,